All right now. Your Excellency, good evening, sir.
Yes, yes, sir. Okay, okay, Demola, I think
Good evening, sir.
good evening.
Sorry about the interruptions.
No, it's okay. It happens. Uh, so
Yes, sir.
we
So
can
I think we have a lot of people
we can
online
now.
waiting for you already.
Okay, that's good.
Okay, sir.
Uh,
So I think it's appropriate I start with giving my condolences to you over the death of your friend, your commissioner. I don't know if you want to say a few things. Maybe you want to say a few things about him, Honorable Kehinde Ayola.
well, I get emotional, when I have to talk about my friend and colleague, Honorable Khan. We've actually been together since 2002. Um, and politically, everywhere I went to, he went with me. So I actually lost a loyal and dedicated friend. So we can only, pray for his family, um, because we cannot question God. You know,
Yes, we can.
so we've accepted uh, what I can say our own bits, and we pray that He will continue to rest in the bosom of our Lord. We meet again.
Amen. Amen. So let me get into the question, the discussion proper. Your Excellency, I would like to start by saying that some people say that governance is rocket science. Some believe that governance, the art of governance in Nigeria, is rocket science. It's complex. It's quantum physics. It's something even tougher than rocket science. So I want to ask: is Governor Seyi a rocket scientist? And if not, how do you hope to be a success? How do you hope to make a success out of your tenure as a governor?
Well, if governors were to be a rocket science, I sure won't be a governor today, because I'm not a rocket scientist. Uh, I'm an engineer. So
Yes.
uh, uh, I don't see governance as a rocket science. Yes, it's challenging, a little bit difficult, but when we came in on the 29th of May, we were very clear, in our approach to governance and what we want to. We came in and said, well, we're going to focus on education, health, security, and the economy, using what we have comparative advantage in our state, which is our land. So we said we're going to expand our economy through agriculture and agribusiness. Yes, between May 29th, now we're approaching 1 year. What we've done is to allow our decisions, first to be very simple. Keep it very simple. Let it be driven by logic, by science, and by data. So if we want to say construct a road, for instance, and we're saying, well, this road is going to target our economy, and we're saying that, okay, agriculture and agribusiness, will be the major driver to open up our economy, and we say, okay, so where can we build that road that will, go straight to the heart of our new economy? And then the first project I flagged off when we came in was Moniya to Ishenyi Road. because Okiogun happens to be the area in Oyo State where we look at them as the food basket. I mean, it's the ripe savanna, you know, and a little bit of a rainforest when you come towards Ibadan. So, opening up those areas, you know, will move us closer to where we really want to be. So, in that wise, it's really sometimes common sense, you know. During the campaign, we met children on the street saying, "Well, we were sent out because we couldn't pay 3,000 naira, you know, that the government was school fees that the government was charging them." And when I came in, I said, "Look, how many students do we have in here?" They said, "Oh, about 400,000 of them." So 3,000 times 400 is 1.2 billion. I said, "Okay, where can we get 1.2 billion, you know, over the next 4 years?" Because the mandate that we got, you know, basically cover 4 years. So we said to get 4.8 billion, if we look at BESDA, some grants from the World Bank, and we're able to, you know, have the confidence that we have this 4.8 billion naira. And I said, okay, we scrap the 3,000 naira, you know, school fees. And again, from that education standpoint, we said, so, excuse me, how have they been applying this money that they were collecting from the students? And we found out that the money comes to the government coffers. It stays in those schools, and the school governing board and the school principal are the ones, you know, using this money to carry out projects. And we said, well, okay, no, we will give you grants, but you can't spend it like the way you were spending the money when it was, you know, coming freely without anyone accounting for it. So we give them a specific project to be carried out. You know, so to that extent, I think governance is commonsensical, really, not rocket science. Yeah,
I agree, Your Excellency. Now, Governor Seyi Makinde, you brought back a forgotten standard in leadership, in political leadership in Nigeria, when you declared your financial assets publicly in 2019. That standard was set in 2007 by President Umaru Yar'Adua. And the interesting thing at that time was that there was a lot of pressure when, after he declared his assets publicly, there was a lot of pressure on his then Vice President Goodluck Jonathan at the time, by the opposition party at that time. You know, they mounted a lot of pressure on him, and it was a lot of back and forth, you know, before he was pressurized, and then, you know, he declared his assets. At that time, had only one governor in Lagos State, Governor Raji Fashola at the time, and he told them, his spokesperson at that time, Imanibo, told them, said, okay, you declare your own assets, but they refused to do that. So I can understand that, you know, a lot of politics and a lot of pressure sometimes to stop you from declaring it, so that you don't put everybody in a box, you know, your state, and make everybody afraid. I can understand what political pressure would be like, but you were committed to seeing that through. Governor Kayode Fayemi also declared his assets in during his first term. A number of people have also done it, but in the governors in the set of 2019 that just coming in for the first time, you declared your assets publicly. So how easy or how difficult was it for you to follow through with that particular campaign promise, Your Excellency?
Well, like you rightly mentioned, you know, there were pressure, you know. People, my lawyer, you know, came to me and said, well, you know, if we make, you know, the minutest of mistake, you know, it may come back to haunt us, you know, and things like that. And I said, look, I've come through all the things that I've acquired over, you know, the years, and also there are things that I can pinpoint where the money came from when they were acquired, and all of that. So I said to him that since I promised the people of Oyo State during the campaign, and integrity is one of the things that we thought if we bring it back into governance, it will definitely change the landscape, in Nigeria. So I just said to them that, well, okay, I'm going to the code of conduct. The law does not require me to declare it publicly. And then, yeah, they followed me, and they thought I've been convinced. Then, as soon as I gave the copy to the code of conduct director, I said, "Can you stamp my own copy and then put it to me?" And then I handed it over to my chief press secretary, and I said, "Just go ahead and declare it. And if anything comes out of it, I told the lawyers that I'm ready to face the camp. I'm ready to face the music because this has been there over the years. I've never been in government before. I've never occupied any government position.
Yes.
So this is my first, government position for me to be occupied. And from the private world, all you have to do is every year you file your tax returns. This was also a campaign issue. Yeah, they asked me during the campaign,
yes. Yes, it was. Yes,
and
I remember.
I bet the taxes have been paying, over the years, So for me, again, we kept it really simple. There's no complications out there, and glad we set that standard, and we do hope that some of our political leaders in the years to come, will also follow that standard here.
And those future leaders are listening presently, sir. It's a good example to set for them. Governor Makinde, I want to ask, sir, as a successful business person who has made an equally successful transition into politics, what can you say are the three things that have guided you into success? What can you say are the three qualities that have guided you into success, both in business and in politics? Because you've won the governorship. You won the governorship over a year ago. So that means you've achieved one of your political goals. So success in business, success in politics. What are the three things that you can say have contributed to your success in those two arenas?
Well, I think the first thing is one should not be too proud, to start really small. You shouldn't be too proud. In 2007, I tried to go to the Senate. I mean, I wasn't successful. I tried it again 2011. I wasn't successful. Well, by 2015, I said, well, it's time to move up. So I think the future leaders should not, be too proud to say, oh, if I don't get this, then I'm not. And also, you have to be optimistic and find a way around obstacles, because success is won by fight. When you cannot see anybody that will claim to be successful without a fight. And also, you need to, loyalty and commitment, they are really very important. Loyalty to a cause, commitment to a cause, and to the people around you. Because, Right Honorable Kande Ayola, my late friend and Commissioner for Environment,
Natural
yeah,
resources.
we've been together. So commitment, when people see that you're committed to a cause, when it's time, for all of them to rally around and support, you definitely get that support. So those three things, and also perseverance, because if at your first outing, you may or may not achieve what you're looking for. But you know, perseverance and commitment to your cause will definitely take you there. And that is also true in business. When I started out first, I mean, I did a lot of proposals, and they didn't see the light of the day. But somewhere along the line, you know, we got a niche proposal, and then that brought us to the marketplace, and you know, it sustained the business for over 22 years before I stepped down, you know, from running that business, and they are still running up until this moment.
You started at the age of 29, Your Excellency?
Yes, yes, Demola. I started at the age of 29. I mean, I left the University of Lagos at 22, and then did my national service, worked for Shell, did my national service with Shell, and then I worked again as a contract engineer, a pupil engineer at the Bonnet terminal for another year, and I was waiting to, you know, get a career with Shell, but I did the interviews and it just didn't work out. And I thought, well, you know what?
So you set up your own thing?
No, I went out to work for a company called Rebuild, and they gave me, you know, exposure into all the other operating companies. So whereas a lot of my colleagues were, you know, either tied to Shell or to Mobil or to Ajib, but I started working all across. So I basically gained knowledge and understanding of how, you know, cultures within those industries, within those operating companies can allow you, you know, to enter into the industry. So it didn't take me more than 5 years to gather those experience, and then I thought, well, I can now do my own thing. So I set up the business, and the rest now is history, basically.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Thank you, Governor Makinde. I want to ask, the biggest question in the minds of many people, young, old, right now, is not only how to survive the COVID-19 pandemic, but also how to cope in a So I want to ask, as a successful entrepreneur, if you were in business, or if you could go into business right now and in the days to come, in the months to come, in the years to come, what areas of investment or business would you be looking at? If you could invest, if you are still in business now, what areas of business or investments would you be looking at?
Okay, it may really shock you. I'll go into tailoring, because
I'm indeed shocked, sir.
I'm serious, because you know, I call when we got into, you know, the analysis of how to slow down, you know, rate of infection and all of that. So we decided we were going to make a face mask, you know, and we said, okay, we will make 1 million masks, and we're also thinking about how to get those money into the economy in Oyo State. So I invited the Nigerian Association of Tailors, Oyo State chapter, and we discussed, we spoke. Again, I saw some things on the social media where they said we gave them 60 naira, you know, per. Yes, well, yeah, true.
We gave them the money, yes, but the rumors were false.
Yes, we gave them 60 naira per face mask, and their association decided to buy in bulk, you know, for standardization. They decided to buy the materials, the inputs, you know, the elastic band and all of that. And so all of that, and their logistics for getting those to the tailors all across the state. That cost 40 naira. And then the workmanship, which they paid to
So
each tailor, for sewing
yes.
each mask was put at 20 naira. And then a simple calculation, we say 33% for workmanship, about 67% for materials, logistics, and all of that. I mean, it makes sense
And
in
the materials
any,
itself, yes,
yeah,
it does. Yes, it does.
exactly, any business around the world. So after that, now we are looking at personal protective equipment like the gown and all of that for the
Yes.
health workers. So I see a line of business in there straight away. And this virus, the prediction is not going to go away very soon. It's probably going to be with us for a long time to come. So I see a line of business, even making face masks. It will continue. They sell it on the street now for 100 naira, per face mask. And then personal protective equipment will also come. And we've gotten to a point where we're looking inwards. Before we started making masks locally, everybody thought, well, to make masks, you have to import, from
And it was
China, from
rocket
anywhere around
science.
the world. Exactly. But now we've shown that you can do it locally. The next step is we can now see tailors from here, making these. And they can make for the local environment. And if they improve on the quality, they can also make for export. I mean, if you go to the United States and you see most of the clothes that you buy in there is made in Thailand, made in all these Eastern European
Yes,
countries. So why
Malaysia.
can't we?
Yes.
Exactly. So for me, I think is something that an area that we can easily break into. So I'll go into that business, and again, I'll go into the business of agriculture, because when we were all, we all got locked down. Then we didn't focus on those other things, the luxury things. We went back to the basic things of life, which is shelter,
Yes.
food, and clothing.
Food, shelter, and clothing. Yes.
So
Yes.
clothing, yes, clothing will support my tailoring business, and then food
Okay.
also, agriculture. Yeah, agriculture
You
will
sustain the food.
ensure food security. Now, I believe we're not importing as much food as we used to, because now we're growing quite a bit locally, and you also want to now do it at a scale where you can actually export. If you look at Southern African countries, the SADC countries, you will notice that corn is a major staple food in there. Anytime you have drought in there, they try to import corn, from all over the world. They've imported, from data available to us, they've imported corn from Brazil, from the United States. We are closer to them. We have the land. It's 3 months cycle, from when you put the corn on the ground to when you harvest. And here in Oyo State, we have the IART, that's the Institute of Agricultural Research and Training. They have offered corn seed for us, to give to our farmers as palliatives. So those are businesses that I will focus on, and I believe that post-COVID-19, people are going to make tons of money, focusing on those businesses. Yeah.
Okay. I'm sure that some smart business people are writing that down now. They're going to go into it. I hope that that they will send a commission to you or me when they start to make it in that industry.
Well, I'm finalizing my own business plan as well. Post governorship and all of that.
After, yes.
Yes, I'll be a farmer.
Okay. Well, let me take you back to politics, Your Excellency. a lot is often said about ideological politics in Nigeria, or the absence of it, and how easily politicians defect from one party to another. So I want you started your political journey, ANPP, and then you came to PDP, and then you went to SDP.
No, actually,
before returning to
I started in PDP.
Oh, okay.
No, I started in PDP. I joined PDP in 2002.
2002,
we worked for Governor Ladoja. Yeah, 2002. We worked for Governor Ladoja.
Yes, for Senator Rashid Ladoja. Yes,
yes.
You were. I was going to ask about the ideological differences of the political parties. Do you think there's any ideological differences with the political or the two major political parties we have in Nigeria presently? And then, what is your opinion about political defections, basically? If you can comment on those.
Well, even advanced democracies, like in the United States, if you go and check the history, former U.S. President Ronald Reagan, he started as a Democrat, and he became the president under Donald Trump. He was more of a Democrat than a Republican, but now he's the president under a Republican, as a Republican. And there's a senator from Connecticut, Joe Lieberman.
Senator Lieberman has been independent. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And then he became an independent. So sometimes when you feel you're being cheated, or you're not being treated right, to show the leadership of your party that look, I have the people behind me, and then so that leads to defection. So it actually should put pressure on the leadership of political parties that look, you need to practice the internal democracy, inside. Yeah, inside those parties. And if you look at all of this, I contested in 2007 under ANPP. I was the senatorial candidate. Immediate past governor of Oyo State, Senator Ajimabi, was the governorship candidate. We both lost. And then I came into ANPP then from PDP. He was an AD senator. So he came from AD into ANPP. And then after we both lost, I went back to PDP. He went back to ACN. So
ACN, and then became governor.
Yes, I think at this level of political evolution, there's really no strong ideology yet. It will evolve as we move along, but right now it's more of the individual, occupying those positions. What exactly do they want to do? Their ideas, progressive ideas. So I'm a PDP governor, but I progressive than some governors in APC. So there's really no ideology at play at this. Yes, it is a level of political development. It will come in at some point, but at this stage, I think people will have to look at individuals and hold individuals accountable for promises made, during electioneering.
I didn't want to ask any. I told myself I was going to ask follow-up questions, but I need to ask this for the record, Your Excellency. You are a progressive.
Without any doubt, yes.
Okay, I asked that because I declared you on Twitter. I made a tweet, at some point, saying that Governor Seyi Makinde is the most progressive politician ever produced in the Southwest among the two political parties, PDP and all the parties that have been APC. That you, to me, that you are the most progressive, and I believe that that will show itself at the end of your tenure. So I want to ask.
Well, you see, any government for that matter, exist to tend to the welfare of the people. You know, so for me, it's an irreducible fact. You know, if we want to take a decision, the first thing we have to look at is how does this affect the welfare of our people?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That's spot on. That's spot on.